As we all know, Episode 1 of Attack on Titan gave fans a horrifying scene as Bertolt, the Colossal Titan, and Reiner, the Armored Titan, breached the walls of Paradise and caused a massacre that killed Eren's mother. But what if that wasn't the case? What if back then, Ani, Bertolt, and Reiner joined Paradise Island? Today, we'll be answering the question many fans have speculated about. In this scenario, the warrior candidates arrived at Paradise and Marcel died just like in the main storyline. However, after his death, instead of them vowing to kill the people of Paradise and finishing their mission, they turned their sights on the individuals that trained them to become killing machines and threw them into an island full of man-eating monsters and enemies. During that time, they surrendered to the Paradise government and were taken into custody by the military police, where they revealed all of Marley's plans and secrets. This would eventually cause a coup d'etat where they would kill Frida Rice and the Rice family and free the people of Paradise from the Founding Titan's illusions. The Founding Titan will most likely be inherited by Reiner, since he seems to be the leader of the trio, and Paradise will be controlled by a military government. If that was the case, there wouldn't have been the fall of Shiganshina. Eren's mother wouldn't have died, and he wouldn't have become a revenge-hungry child against the Titans. He would have grown up with Mikasa and Armin as normal children before they would eventually join the Scouts regiment. Other than Shiganshina not falling, Grisha Jaeger wouldn't have killed Frida Rice. Thus, he did not obtain the Founding Titan and broke the promise he had with Kruger. Grisha Jaeger then continued his normal life as a doctor within Paradise. However, he still has the Attack Titan in him, but he would not give this to Eren until a few years down the line. Eren would not also obtain the Founding Titan, making his plan of obtaining freedom non-existent. Now that we've established what will happen to the main trio of the series, let's go back to Reiner, Bertolt, and Ani, where they would shift the entire focus of Attack on Titan. The story continues to the time when the 104th Cadet Corps was formed. We would still see the characters featured in the main series, including Eren, Armin, and Mikasa, but instead of Reiner, Ani, and Bertolt being spies, they would become officers that train the cadets. In this alternate timeline, instead of Paradise focusing on eradicating Titans, they are preparing for war in order to defend themselves against the upcoming Marleyan threat. This includes not only training personnel, but also manufacturing anti-personnel weapons, ships, and more. When Grisha heard of this, he set off his plan of transferring the Attack Titan on Eren. He would do the same thing as he did in the main series, where he would sacrifice himself so that Eren would eat him and inherit the Attack Titan. After finishing their training to fight Marleyans, the 104th Cadet Corps officially disbands. Reiner, Ani, and Bertolt, along with Eren and the others, form a special company of scouts dedicating to fighting against threats from Marley. Now that Reiner, Bertolt, and Ani are on Paradise Side, the Tross invasion would not most likely occur, avoiding the deaths of several known characters including Marco. Instead, the anti-Marley scout company, now under the command of Commander Erwin, Hanji Zoe, and Captain Levi, would go out on an expedition to find a route that leads to the ocean so Paradise can prepare construction plans for a port that they would eventually use to invade Marley in the future. In this expedition, Eren would get killed by a Titan but then awaken his Attack Titan powers, cementing the power that Paradise has now that they have 6 Titan powers, including the Founding Titan and the Hidden Jaw Titan by Ymir. During this expedition, however, with 6 Titans by their side, the anti-Marley scout company would reach the ocean and finally take their first steps in taking revenge against Marley. Now, going back to Marley, after a message through Zeke has reached Marley that the warrior candidates that they have sent have defected to the enemy side, they are in a panic as they now lost 3 Titan shifters among their ranks, and they recall all the remaining warriors back home. The Mid-East allied forces declare war and push the attack on Marley. This results in Fort Slava being saved from its destructive fate at the hands of Reiner and Zeke, with the Mid-East allied forces effectively putting the war into a stalemate. Marley keeps sending ships to gain intel on the incoming Eldian threat, but all of them are destroyed before they can return, just like in the main series. This puts Marley on high alert as they expect an immediate Eldian invasion. The news of the trio's betrayal comes as a shock not only to Marley but to the remaining warriors and warrior candidates including Peak, Falco, Zeke, Colt, Gabi, and Porco. They are now in a dilemma as in the future, they may have to fight their own fellow warriors. This also puts pressure on the other warrior and warrior candidates on whose side they will fight. Similar to the main AOT timeline, Yelena and the others are spared and they help in modernizing Paradise with Reiner, Bertolt, and Ani. They also still distribute wine with Zeke's spinal fluid, which proved to be of no use to Zeke since he retreated back to Marley, but we'll get back to that soon. During this time, now that Marley knows that the trio betrayed them, Eren infiltrates Marley using the identity of Eren Kruger, just like in the main storyline where he manipulates Falco into helping him. As all the pieces are now in place, Paradise is now ready for their invasion. Just as the events in the series, the Tiber family, led by Will Tiber, reveals to the world the great Titan power where Eldia massacred a horrific amount of people using their Titan powers. On the contrary, unnoticed by them, Reiner, Eren, Ani, and Bertolt are lying in wait and waiting for Eren's signal to attack. Just as Will Tiber declares war, Eren attacks and transforms into the Attack Titan, killing Will Tiber. Following him, Bertolt, just like Armin in the original timeline, destroys the Marleyan fleet, while Reiner and Ani join Eren on the attack on land. This was also backed up by the anti-Marleyan scout company via airships, now being led by Commander Erwin, Hanji Zoe, and Captain Levi, which were engaged with the Beast Titan and the Card Titan. During this fight, Ymir is present but still hides her identity as the Jaw Titan to protect Historia, who is one of the members of the anti-Marleyan scout company. Seeing this, Lara Tiber turns into the Warhammer Titan and engages the Attack Titan. However, she is quickly overpowered by Eren and Mikasa and encases herself in the indestructible crystal. With the momentum of of Paradise surprise attack slowly fading, Historia is caught in a pinch and Ymir transforms herself into the Jaw Titan, revealing her identity and saving Historia. She then helps Eren in breaking the Warhammer's crystal, giving Eren the chance to eat Lyra Tiber and gain the powers of the Warhammer Titan. However, Ymir is captured by Marley due to her inexperience in using her Titan form. Levi also quickly defeats Zeke just like in the main series. However, they didn't conspire with each other and Zeke narrowly escaped death because Peak arrived to save him. But in an instant, John would then attack Peak and mortally wound her. Now that they have destroyed most of Marley's military assets, the anti-Marley scout company retreats to their airships. Gabi and Falco enter the airship to ask Reiner and the other warriors why they betrayed Marley. Gabi then shoots Sasha, causing her death just like in the main series. The two warrior candidates are taken as prisoners and Reiner, Bertolt and Annie explain to them the current situation as they make their way back to Paradise. As they arrive, just like in the main series, Gabi and Falco escape from their captors and seek refuge in Sasha's household. There, they were discovered by Niccolo, and Niccolo attempted to kill Gabi but was stopped by the scout regiment. But in this timeline, he does not reveal that the wine contained Zeke's spinal fluid. While Marley licks their wounds from the devastating surprise attack by Paradise, mistrust between the warriors continues to grow as Peak starts to consider joining her fellow warriors in Paradise. Using her intuition, Peak infiltrates the walls of Paradise where she meets her old friends, and after a lengthy conversation decides to join them, leaving only Zeke as the last warrior to defend Marley. With the whole world witnessing the new military might of Paradise, they create a global alliance and create a plan to start a counterattack against Paradise. This was being led by Zeke, but he had been working on something else under the shadows, and his target was Reiner after he gave information about him having the Founding Titan. Reconsidering his plan, Zeke aims to use Marley's counterattack to capture Reiner and use the Founding Titan's power to sterilize the entire population of the subjects of Ymir, where they would eventually become extinct after a century passes by. Back in Marley, after being captured, Ymir is tortured and eventually eaten by Galliard, giving Marley back the Jaw Titan. Now they start their counterattack. As Eren stands at the rooftop, Porco Galliard ambushes him after he infiltrates the walls, cutting off his legs just like in the anime series, but Eren manages to transform and alert the anti-Marley scout company. Marleyan airships then appear in the sky led by General Theo Magath. Now having two Titans on their side, they finally start their raid on Paradise. While outgunned and outnumbered in terms of the number of Titan shifters on their side, they quickly turn the tide as Zeke shouted, causing all those that drank the wine to turn into Titans, including Falco, who eats the mortally wounded Galliard. With Captain Levi not injured and in his prime, he targets Zeke before he could initiate another scream, turning more scouts into Titans. By this point, there were no Jaegerists and the scouts were united, so they were in prime condition to fight back. After a long battle, Captain Levi was able to kill Zeke without Eren ever knowing they were siblings. Eren would not be able to come into contact with Ymir in the past and could not free her. Therefore, he could not initiate the rumbling since Reiner has the Founding Titan and could not use its power since he did not come into contact with someone of your royal blood. After a long battle, the Eldians emerged victorious through the unstoppable destructive power of the anti-Marley scout company and the brilliance of Commander Erwin, who led the defense. Falco would learn to control his Titan powers and convince Gabi to join Paradise. With the Marleyan military resources almost depleted and no warriors left to fight for them, Marley and the Global Alliance surrenders to the new world superpower, Eldia. Eldians of all around the world are released from captivity and they will go to Paradise and the newly conquered territories to start their new lives free from oppression. In this alternate timeline, there was no rumbling. Eren wasn't a major character in the fight against Marley. Zeke never managed to reveal that he was Eren's brother. The Founding Titan's power was not put into use, and the key players in Eldia's fight for freedom were Reiner, Bertolt, and Peak. Coincidentally, are you curious on what would happen if Tanjiro never became a demon slayer? If so, check the video right here.